Yeah.
For sure.
Gotta
So
take
what's
it
up?
to
The
they
sound
go
went
run it
out
by the
right.
Geek Squad over at Best Buy.
Hey,
Yeah,
For real.
the sound went out as soon as I put the intro on. It just went out on
I
me.
was wondering why everybody was just sitting there and there was nothing. I was like, what are we doing?
I was
You ain't
confused.
getting
The
no
sound
music
ain't
or
went out.
nothing,
I'm
dog.
trying to
I'm
fix
like,
the
what?
sound.
See, you be doing too
So
much, Chris.
how am I doing too much? I always do the intro.
I got to cut out like 5 minutes of the video. You might as well just redo the intro and just like cut out the first 5 minutes.
We gonna get somebody to tap dance.
That's what I was about to do.
Technology
Man, did y'all see them
Tuesdays.
alternate? Somebody had mocked up some alternate uniforms for the Raiders.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
seen
think I
that.
With
seen
the
them.
black
Oh,
helmet and everything.
Yeah,
Look like
Chris
they
gonna
on
say you
any
gonna
given
lose. Chris gonna
Sunday.
say you gonna losing style. I was cracking up.
You know what I'm
you're gonna
saying?
lose. You
And
might as
that's
well
not
lose
even
some
in
style.
style like that. That looks terrible.
Yeah, that's
They could have did
It's
something
just too
Nah,
much
different
of one
other than that
color.
shit. That was just for me.
I mean,
That looked
I
like
mean,
yeah. It
I
just
think
looked like
worse.
Jamie Foxx supposed to be in that uniform.
oh, you talking about?
There's definitely worse.
Any
I know
given
what you think about
Sunday.
them any
What
given
the,
Sunday jerseys.
Or like
Yeah.
the USFL.
Yeah,
the
That's what they
sharks?
Yeah,
look
What
that's
they
like.
what
the
it looked
sharks?
like. Touchdown, sharks.
I thought it had a weird. I mean, they trying to.
Mhm.
No, I mean them alternates. They was trying to go with that
They
stupid
did, Tyler.
Darth Vader thing. You know, that's what they've been stuck on that. For years and all that. I mean, it still don't matter.
Bro,
Darth
the
Vader,
Raiders
Light Vader,
only have
there.
one
Still suck.
uniform. The Raiders cannot pivot and try to do something off the wall like that. One uniform is it. I don't see them being able to transition to an alternate uniform that looks good because you only got two colors, silver and black, like
You
and
got to
white.
do like
There's some
all
white in it
silver or
too, like
something.
yeah.
No,
And
the
even
only
them,
thing
it
they need
probably
to
look like
figure out.
ass.
Only thing they need to alternate is find a way how to alternate from losing to winning. Who cares about your jersey? It don't matter. My goodness.
The-
Like, can we get serious? Like with Oregon, I mean,
Zay,
Oregon has no excuse because obviously because Nike is there, but
yeah,
y'all got
right.
these
Yep,
fancy nice jerseys. You go up there just to lose in the big one
yep,
every
to
single
get
time.
yep,
smacked.
yep, yep,
Right.
I mean,
We,
it
we
is
lost.
what
We
it
lost in
is.
style though.
Hey
yep.
man, gotta look pretty
The
while you do
Chiefs
it.
need to do something for this alternate
You think the Chiefs
helmet.
need an alternate?
Yeah, I would
No,
like to see it.
I don't
you
think
can't.
so,
You
dog.
can't alternate that color, man.
Yeah, you
I don't think
can. You gotta
so.
throw a all
no,
yellow.
no. I
Oh,
mean,
yellow.
no, no,
God,
Ugh,
you know
no.
what you do.
Have out
like
there
Oh,
look like a bunch of lemon heads on the football field.
God, do you have a fireplace in your house?
big ass thing of mustard on the field.
I want you to
Got Patrick
put
Mahomes
some
looking
wood
like
in the
mustard.
fireplace. Get you some lighter fluid. Make you a festive fire. Then stick your head in it
I mean, no, I was
until you
cool with
start
them.
hearing that popping sound. That means some meat is cooking. They don't need no goddamn French's uniform in Kansas City.
That's
Come
what I'm
on.
saying.
Nah, stick to what
Why
they
I
got.
want a glizzy? I want some glizzy with ketchup and some Frenchies and some relish.
Nope.
Relish, not relish. Relish. I want some relish.
Relish.
Nope. Keep it simple. Keep it with the red and white, or the white and red, or the white on white. But I mean,
or
I
even
mean,
a gray.
I'm
They could throw in a gray though.
look.
Stop.
I'm on the fence with the red on red because every time they wear the red on red,
They
it's
lose.
always it's
Yeah.
lose or it's close and it's no. I'm good
You
on
notice they didn't wear that bitch
Last
maybe
year,
one time
like,
last year.
that. Mm-hmm.
Maybe I think it. No, I don't even think they wore it once last year. Did they? Because
I
they
know they
got
did
their
the year
ass kicked
before.
wearing that red. With Buffalo, Buffalo beat the dog shit out of them. They
yeah,
said,
all that
"Nah,
all
we ain't doing
red.
this no more."
I think they
The
did it
all
when
white's better, I think.
All white
They-
do smack.
they did it when they barely got by Denver 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I said,
Mhm.
don't you ever do that again. That was the year when Tyreek had that catch and then
It wasn't a catch.
yeah. Mm-mm.
So y'all don't like the red on red?
Yeah.
I mean, they're nice, but we always, like they said, we always lose it in them.
Look, they don't win. They barely winning that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They lost. They lost to the Colts wearing red on red.
I
Remember
remember when
lost
they
to the
first
Colts
brought out
in that
those
same
jerseys, they
red
lost
on
the
red.
game. The first time they ever
Lost
wore
to
them, they
Buffalo.
lost.
Like
Mm-mm.
Dog. No, I'm cool on that shit.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, they'll be one of them original franchises that just sticks to the tradition of who they are, what colors, and all that stuff. Don't do nothing extra. We good. We good.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I ain't even gonna do an intro. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna go ahead and start it off, man, because we know
Yeah,
we got
just go ahead
we
and
got
start it, man.
we,
Get
we
cracking.
got 9 minutes in, man.
Yeah.
I might have to do some cutting and editing, whatever, but still, we'll be all right. But so some new rules, fellas. The NFL owners got together yesterday and made some new rules. And one of those rules is the quarterback rule. And I think I'm gonna call this the 49er rule.
Yep, the 49er rule.
Because now you can carry a third quarterback on your roster and it won't count against your roster. So now that will help out more so with special teams too, because now you can carry some, you could carry an extra guy that might not have made the team if you wanted an extra quarterback on the team. Now you don't have to make that decision no more. Now you can just be like, all right, I'm gonna take this third quarterback and I can add this wide receiver or corner or whatever on special teams. So that'll be a benefit on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Injuries happen to quarterbacks all the time. We see that with the 49ers. We see it with us. Pat has gotten hurt a few times in these playoff runs, and Chad Henne had to come in and made some plays to keep us winning. So that's going to be a benefit for all teams who need a quarterback on their squad. What's your thoughts on the whole new rule with the quarterback?
Let's just be open and honest with that. You just basically open up another 10, 12 plays for Andy Reid and company. Let's just be honest. Because then you could add, some more dimension. We can always talk about bringing in somebody because we know the forbidden play is the quarterback sneak. You can bring in another quarterback just for that, or a specialty package. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff. So for a team like the Niners, it's depth in regards to that in case you go down to your third quarterback or whatever. But for Andy Reid, you just opened up 12 plays. Let's just be honest. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the rule change. It needed to be done after what we seen last year when Christian McCaffrey was taking snaps as the quarterback with all those unfortunate injuries that happened in the NFC Championship game. Something needed to be done because it did suck having to choose between, like you said, Chris, a special teams player that you might need for a couple plays on kickoff or punt return, or a quarterback, which you're probably not going to need. But if you get to that point where you need them, you're probably in bad trouble. So it made sense for them to add another quarterback. Like DJ said, this could open up more plays for the Chiefs if they went out and got an athletic quarterback that can do those things. They do not currently have that on the roster, in my opinion, unless Shane Buechele is that. I haven't seen enough to know. So, but I currently don't think they have that on the roster right now.
As far as this third QB emergency situation go, I mean it's good business all around, but I mean realistically, like you alluded to at the beginning, Chris, like this was all stemming from San Francisco.
Yeah.
And if we keeping it all the way funky, San Francisco had options that the head coach was just too stubborn to use that week anyway. Because Jimmy was up. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't have to bring up Johnson when you had a healthy Jimmy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But him just not liking Jimmy so much, he went with the alternative. So I mean, I guess, man. And like I said, it's good for business. So whatever.
Yeah. Probably one of the few rules this weekend that was good.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the next rule, I don't think the players are going to enjoy this rule, but from week 13 to week 17, now you can flex Thursday night games. Now, we all know what this is all about. The NFL just wants more money, and they're tired of all the bad games. Mark talked about this all the time.
Yep.
All the bad games on Thursday night. So instead of seeing the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you might see the Chiefs against, the Buffalo Bills, just to throw a team out there, whatever. You might see that week. So, and that's bad for the players because now if they play on Sunday and then they find out they're getting flexed on Thursday, it's going to be like, well, damn, now we ain't getting no rest.
But I heard that they have to give them like 28-day notice that they're getting ready to flex that game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So they do have to give them that time to say, hey, we flexing this. You know what I mean? So at least from that standpoint, the players can get a little bit more prepared 2 weeks prior, a week prior, or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's being like short notice.
Right. And just dropping it in their lap, like, hey, you got a quick turnaround this week. You know what I'm saying? At least they can mentally prepare for it. Like,
well, I mean, if they got that, and if that's what they got in there, now I mean that's cool. It's still bad.
Still a pain in the ass, though.
Yeah, it's still bad. It's still bad business. As period. They talking about is that we getting some crappy games. Well, what do you expect's going to happen on a short week? You think they're going to get quality practice and time to be able to study the playbooks and plan all of this stuff? It don't matter. It could have been arguably the same teams,
and not even so much that. Think about it from the aspect of if you playing a top 10 defense on Sunday and they've taken something away from you and you barely get out of this game and you got a locker room full of the walking and wounded and then they got to flip that, you know what I'm saying, to go play on a Thursday night, like,
and have
you
the
play out potential too. You know what I'm saying? You playing for positioning and shit and you got to turn around and perform again, like,
and that don't even include. I mean, we don't make as big deal of it as we could or should or whatnot. But if it goes to overtime too, you got to factor that in as well.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's some bullshit, bro.
And it's already and we've already talked about it. But the Chiefs already have the shortest rest in between games this season out of all teams. So that's just going to add to it.
And they're going to throw us on they're going to flex us out to a Thursday night game late in the year. I wouldn't be shocked. I think this is one of the worst rule changes the NFL has made in the near future, the recent future, whatever you want to say, because they continue to put player safety last. And I thought DJ brought up a good point in the group chat yesterday, especially after everything they went through last year with player safety, with the Tua situation and the Damar Hamlin situation. You'd think they would have learned their lesson on this, and I just really don't. I feel like this is going to come back and get them at some point.
I just think it's going to come up. I mean, I hate to say it, and it's like does God have their hand on all the players and stuff like that, but it's going to take something to the worst of the worst caliber to happen. You don't want that. I'd rather it be a proactive league. But what am I thinking though? It's a proactive, or this is not even a proactive country. Let's just be real. We're very reactive. So hopefully it doesn't come down to that point or anything like that. But they need to consider that instead of just the dollar. It's not all money is good money. We've been saying that for the longest.
If you smart, if you're a smart coach. You plan for if you get that 28-day notice, I would start to look at depth at certain positions, guys that maybe your vets or somebody that's a little bit banged up throughout that entire year and can't shake that injury bug. Like, all right, we probably gonna cut his reps down, cut the minutes down. Like, as many quality backups that you have, like. You try to get that win with some backups in there that Thursday night because
they
wouldn't be no way otherwise.
They better watch out and don't turn the NFL to the NBA. Let's say on Sunday we play the Bears that week. Be some low management.
Low management.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard is on the football field.
Yeah. Pat got a little strain in his leg. You know what I'm saying? He can't play. He can't play on Sunday.
We're gonna see some fresh. We're gonna see some USFL and XFL in there.
Yeah, for real.
Where did this guy come from? So I'm not sure y'all said if you watch the replacements, you're gonna see a whole bunch of that.
Right. Well, I mean, it may be. You know what I'm saying? It may have to be.
Yeah.
It's too much of a violent sport. Even still, like they've tried to be as safe as they can, but it's too fucking violent. is too grueling and demanding, and the toll that it takes on an athlete's body to make it through 17 it's it's too difficult. Like you have to do something as a head coach to say, how can I protect my players and not lose playoff positioning, or does a team have to sacrifice potentially losing a number one seed, or at least being in that top four, being one of those top four teams that are guaranteed a home playoff game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's come down to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have to pick your poison.
They
You know what I'm
they
saying? Can
better
we
be
win these
careful.
games on the road and still make it to where we want to go? Like we giving up potentially a bye. It's just gonna create bigger problems, dog.
They better
And
be
this,
careful
It
because
is.
it's like they're flirting with that fine line as far as what the NBA is struggling with as it is. Like you said, with
Yep.
the whole Kawhi Leonard situation, and just to even make it to the postseason. That's why nobody really watches the regular season, because you're not getting quality. So how in the world do you think doing these flex, especially on Thursday night, is going to help the quality of the game? I ain't going to watch that trash. I ain't even watched that game yesterday because I knew exactly how it was going to go. But
I don't want to talk about.
yeah, right, exactly. That's why I just said that game from the other night. But but I just don't. I think it's going to. I strongly believe it's going to come back to bite them. I really do.
I do
And,
too.
and
It's
I
gonna
mean,
come
granted,
back.
you're going to see that third quarterback come into use, which is actually a good thing. I think that's probably the only thing it benefits. But as a whole, I just don't see the benefit of it.
and this is why at the next CBA meeting, cats like Patrick Mahomes,
They
Joe
need to be at the
Burrows,
table.
Justin
Josh Allen.
Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, all the top tier quarterbacks, they got to be involved with the
Yep.
CBA because that was the problem. That's the problem with the CBA. Is
With the NFLPA.
the top tier guys got to be afraid. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, all them dudes
Drew Brees, like
was
all them
part of the
guys.
CBA back in the day, and they
Mhm.
was like, you know what? We you know what I'm saying, we coming together united. We gonna
Yep.
help our brothers out. Yo, look, I know y'all need y'all checks. We gonna help y'all out, man. We gonna build it. We got this fund here just in case something like this happens. So if we strike the season, we got y'all. You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
got y'all. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about you feed your families and all that stuff because we got y'all. That's what we here for. If those dudes linked up and got together on the CBA, they wouldn't have to take some of the crap that they got to take from these owners.
Yep.
Because the problem is that once these players realize, because this is this is the only league to me that you just can't find replacements for. Like in basketball, you can get some dude from overseas or some dude, there's good basketball players all around the world. In football, there ain't good football players all around the world. It's hard to find great football players. This league is it. There's no
Yep.
outside league that you
Yep.
can pull from. And once these players realize, like, look, y'all need us. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna make no money if I don't play on Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. You're not. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's not another me. There's not
Yep.
another
There's
Joe
no Joe
Burrow.
Burrow. Yep.
There's
Josh
not
Allen.
another. There's not another Justin Jefferson, man. It's just not. Like, and once
I
they
agree
learn
with you,
that,
Chris. And the problem with the NFLPA is that it's one dude. Like the representative is an offensive lineman, right? And it's Wyatt Teller, I think it was, or one of them dudes from on that Browns offensive line. The problem with that is you're not getting representation for all the players, like you said. I think all the players need to come together and do something. But I think if you get all those big names together, like you mentioned, the league's going to have to be put on notice because you can't lose all them big names. And like they had that replacement season or whatever it was, and you can't have that in the modern day.
The top 10 quarterbacks come together and said, we are not playing another down until shit changes.
That's
how start changing real fast.
That's how that's how careers get shortened though, because then you start to wonder, as far as granted there are other scenarios or whatnot and everything. Who knows like what it could have been? It's like if Barry Sanders would have played longer and all this stuff, and some of the stuff that was going on, even with the Calvin Johnson stuff like that, they would have played a little bit longer. But it's like this sport, like Clarence said, this is a very violent sport and everything. Yes, they lean back, but it's still a violent sport at the end of the day. But if they want, unless they want these players to have shortened careers, or we start to wonder why some of these big names are retiring by year 5 or year 6, I mean, who knows? This could be one of those years where Tua is under the gun. Let's be real. If he gets one more concussion, or who knows? We may not see him for another. This may be it.
Yeah.
But also, one of the biggest things is the fact that we, the fans, the consumers, pretty much put them in this situation.
We do.
Because we wanted more football.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
We want entertaining football.
We for the longest time, like before Thursday night became like a big thing, it was just predominantly Sunday and Monday. You know what I mean? Occasionally Saturday once it got towards the holiday time. You know what I mean? So now that we got Thursday night, now everybody is starting to see, well, wait a minute, the physicality of this game and the repercussions of a quick turnaround and the effects on it, like, whoa, we need to ease up. But the NFL being the machine that it is like, well, number one, we're making money. Number two, we're giving you guys what you asked for. You guys wanted more football, so we're trying to give that to you as well. Like, where do you find that happy place? You know what I'm saying? For the fan and on behalf of the players. You know what I'm saying? Where's the middle ground at?
I hear that. I hear you too. It's like, but even so, I think part of that too is because they're learning from what's going on with other sports as well too. Because even so, on Thursday night, you still had those college football games that's going on, and even in Christmas, you saw what the NBA was doing, how they were able to generate revenue because they were playing those Christmas Day games. They would have that full lineup and stuff like that. So, I mean, I get that whole, they're looking at each other and different allies and all that other stuff, but I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just not at this junction. It's just not a smart business move. I mean, for them, it's smart because but at the end of the day, they're not the ones putting their bodies on the line. For them, it's just a dollar. So
yeah, I mean, if I'm a player, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you appreciate the fans and all that stuff, and they're the reason why they're making all that big money. But at the same time, it's like I got to take care of my future, man. I got to think about me. Like if I get cut tomorrow, if I start sucking, this fan don't want me on the team anymore anyway. He ain't gonna want to deal with me. He gonna tell me I suck. I'm washed up. I gotta go. So, fans are fickle. Let's just be real.
Yeah, right.
They love him we love the player until we have no use for him. You know what I'm saying?
Unless like a GM.
Unless we just, love a player for, because he's a good in the community or whatever, whatnot. But other than that, if once the player starts getting washed up, like, man, get this dude off our team, man. He got to go. We got to replace him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the league is about. You know what I'm saying? They sign you to replace you. soon as you a year in the league, they looking to replace you. They looking to find somebody else younger. Because that's what the league is about. Getting younger. So if I'm players, I'm like, dude, I love the fans. We got to think about us first. You know what I'm saying? And so we gotta the next CBA, we gotta try to get them to give us guaranteed contracts, man. Especially running backs. Look how we devalue running backs nowadays.
Look at the market's not moving at all.
Exactly. Right. Like, because in our mindset, we can just get this dude. He could be the short
round.
He could be the short yardage back, and we could get the scat back, and he can be the fast dude. And we got a complete running back room. Like, and we could pay that dude $1 million and pay this dude $1 million. And that's how we look at running backs nowadays. So at the CBA, they need to start helping not just the quarterback, the other players, the corners, the running backs, the linebackers. Look how we devalue a linebacker nowadays. Linebacker is like a running back nowadays. We don't even look at linebacker the same anymore. And I think they're important. But
I definitely do too. Especially nowadays, I mean, covering the middle of the field is definitely important.
That's where the way they with these tight ends.
The way the game has evolved.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is something that I think that the CBA, the NFLPA, they need to get better at. Like, DeMaurice Smith is terrible to me. I don't know what he does. He just gets in front of a camera and just talks a bunch of nothing. Like, I don't know what that dude does. At least, what was it, Gene Upshaw? At least Gene Upshaw was doing something.
Right. Yeah.
It looked like Gene Upshaw was getting stuff done. Like him and Tagliabue had a good relationship, and it seemed like stuff was getting done. Once DeMar Smith took over, it looked like he taking money and just letting the NFL do whatever. And then he gets in front of a camera and he's like, "Oh, we're outraged. Well, do something. What are you doing?"
Put the pressure on him. I mean,
Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But what was the other rule that you was talking about, Ty? The 25-yard line?
Yeah, so apparently now on the kickoff, if you fair catch it within like the 25-yard line, the ball will automatically get put at the 25-yard line.
Wait a minute. So you said if you fair catch it where?
Within in the 25-yard line.
From 0 to 25?
Yeah, wherever. Yeah.
They're automatically going to set it at the 25.
Yep.
That's no different than what they're doing in college.
Yeah.
There's no different. I mean, I'm all right with that. I mean, special teams, you have, here, a few of those here and there where they run the back. You have that one player that's special. I mean, you find out about the Tyreek Hills and everything, they can do more and they go for special teams. But, it doesn't sway my decision either way. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I think they needed to cut down on some of the just like the injuries with special teams. When you think about it, that's probably.
So why not just do it the way the XFL does it?
Why not just? That's what I was thinking too. I think they're trying to go. They're trying to head that direction, but they're slowly getting there.
Yeah, I mean, they idea of special teams was brilliant. The kickoff, everything.
I thought the overtime rule was actually pretty cool though to watch. Though that was actually pretty fun. Where they alternated. It was like a hockey shootout, except they did in football stuff. That was brilliant,
and it worked, and it was exciting.
Yeah, that would make it exciting in the NFL too.
Yeah,
just make it a shootout.
I was all for that. You get 3 attempts, stuff like that, and then be done.
Yeah.
I was cool.
Shout out to the XFL, man. They got like 60 players on NFL rosters right now.
Yeah,
like they really did a good job this year.
And shout out to The Rock, man.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, man.
Giving those players opportunities.
And he also football over there.
It was too.
Also, I think they're doing it in a couple weeks. All those players that didn't get drafted in the NFL draft, they're going to do a draft for the XFL.
Yeah, the XFL draft. That'll be interesting.
So that's a good look. So it's a good look for those guys.
And they finally bridged it, man. You know what I'm saying? Where these leagues have a purpose now, where it's not just about spring ball. Like they actually have a deal in place with the NFL where these players actually have those opportunities. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's the best part about it.
Like Taylor Heineke and PJ Walker got an opportunity from the last time it booted up.
Yeah. USFL doesn't have it in place, but you know what I'm saying? The XFL, they really did a good job before the first game. All of this stuff was in place with the NFL to provide those dudes an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So
it did much better. It felt like good quality ball. It felt like true quality ball versus the experiment before the experiment before. It just felt like a general rec league. That's what it felt like.
It was some damn good football. Like, I mean, those teams, man, and like the St. Louis team, they were selling out that stadium.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 25,000 people.
They had to open the upper deck so they could sell more tickets because all the other tickets sold out so fast.
It was St. Louis. I think the Sea Dragons was looking at it. The Defenders had like a packed out crowd.
Yep.
Like, I was watching. I was like, damn, the crowd is packed. They out there.
Yeah, they were.
No, they weren't.
I think Greg Williams was the D coordinator with DC. So that defense was balling. You got Wade Phillips in Houston, the Roughnecks. They was cold. Like it goes to the XFL though, and the uniforms look dope. You know what I'm saying? The equipment looks better than the USFL. Not to knock the USFL, but the uniforms are better.
The stadiums
better. You know what I'm saying? They able to get fans in the stadium. USFL, this is their second year, and they still can't get fans in them stadiums. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. Their uniforms is generic.
And yeah.
Yeah.
I think Under Armour is they sponsor in the USFL.
They look like on Madden 12 when you can create a team and they just throw you like some generic logo and just
who wants
generic.
to see that ugly ass brown uniform Michigan got? Michigan got one, and the Memphis team got an ugly ass uniform too. Like,
but hey, what's that? Breland Speaks out there balling.
Yeah,
what is it? Then let him go to the XFL. Let him prove it there, and then if he carries that over, they give him a shot in the league, man. You know what I'm saying?
See, that's how they should work it together. Like USFL should be a level. Then you go to the XFL, you ball out there. Then you go to the NFL and get a shot.
Go to the league. Yep.
That's how they should do it.
That's how they should do it.
Like if you ball out, do your thing. It's kind of that's kind of how soccer does it. Like them soccer players, they go down to a certain level and then they move up and then they move to another. Like so, they should do it like that.
Because at first I was thinking, well, maybe the USFL's champion should play the XFL, but because you can see the difference in the talent.
Yep.
So that would be the only conclusion. But shit, I think XFL need to extend that shit out like another week or two, because St. Louis should have made it to their playoffs. Or
what I thought
they should have got into their playoffs. They ain't even make their playoffs because of points and all kinds of different crazy situations.
I didn't like the way the standings worked out, but everything other than that was good. I thought The Rock really helped take this league to another level because
he took it serious. He
did. You could tell from day one, like he was about it, and he had the right intentions, and I think
because he's
about it. You know what I'm saying?
Her too.
Told him, like, let's get on board with this and make this. You know what I'm saying?
And plus, he's been there. But he's been there before. He knows what it's like to, be in the be hot. He's in college, and then he's trying to get in the league, and he can't make it. And so he's like, let me, make this stuff serious.
Bridge that gap.
This thing.
And they had a reality show like every week. You know what I'm saying? So people can learn these players and see the struggle and the grind that they go through. Like everything was perfect for the XFL, dog.
Yeah. And I'm happy to see that receiver get another shot, Hakeem Butler, because I was high on him coming out of college, and it just never really worked out. And then
he was
they were trying to convert him to a tight end in the NFL his last year or two.
Because he's like 6'6", 2.
Oh yeah, they were calling him like a Megatron, remember?
But he ran like a 4. But he ran like a 4.3.
Yes, they were calling him the next Megatron.
Because I wanted the Chiefs to
they give him no opportunity.
I was like, let's get Hakeem Butler.
Arizona did him so dirty, bro.
They did.
Because it was him and Andy Isabella. And for whatever reason, he ain't getting no shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man. But that's the type of shit Cardinals do.
Yeah, exactly. But he's getting a shot with the Steelers too. So
he gonna get an opportunity.
Yeah.
He gonna get an opportunity. Hell, he might make that team.
Yeah, Tomlin.
He might.
Gonna make sure.
Tomlin going. Yeah. You just gotta figure out who's on the ball.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett, baby. Kenny Pickett.
You believe in Pickett? Tell the truth.
I like Pickett, actually. I think he played good towards the end of the season.
I thought so too. I mean, I don't think he's going to be great, but I think he could be.
I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I think he can. I think he can fling the football.
Who the backup in Pittsburgh?
Trubisky.
They re-signed Trubisky.
Who cares?
They re-signed.
They brought Mitch back.
Who cares? I saw on the
They brought Rudolph back too. They brought them all back.
Look, you look at it like this.
Garbage.
Look, you look at it like this. If Pickett don't make it, that means they gonna suck, and this will be the first year Tomlin don't make the playoffs.
They're not gonna suck.
Forget about not making the playoffs.
9-7 at worst.
It's that sub 500 record he never had.
But there's a bunch of quarterbacks coming out next year. It ain't just Drake May and Caleb Williams coming out next year. There's a bunch of dudes coming out next year.
Mason Rudolph. Who the hell is Tanner Morgan?
He played. Who did he play for?
He played for Minnesota, I think.
Yeah.
That's an XFL candidate right there.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that. I think Kenny Pickett gonna be all right.
I do too.
Come on, Chris.
I don't think he's great, but
I think
you don't
right.
need Tomlin. Don't need a
He
great
was cool.
quarterback.
He was good. He was pretty good at Pittsburgh when he was in college.
I just think even for that situation, I think they have the perfect situation in that division. You're going to see a bunch of quarterbacks beat each other up, and what better division to do that? I mean, like I said, the AFC North is actually one of the more interesting divisions of all football, where you could arguably
Allen
say
Robinson on that team.
Yeah, they brought him over, which I mean, they made a smart contract. I mean, that's the difference between smart teams that make smart contracts, teams that make dumb contracts. They made sure they didn't eat up the majority of that contract, and that was brilliant.
If they can convince Pickett not to turn the football over,
he didn't.
They'll have
2 games.
Allen Robinson, George Pickens, Hakeem Butler, Deontay Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like
tight ends too.
Darnell Washington and
yes. We ain't even talking about Najee. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the difference was just a bad start. That's it.
He got enough.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I don't think he needs to be great by any means, especially with Mike Tomlin. He just got to be serviceable, and they can make the playoffs. Like,
take them damn.
He's just got to be a Jimmy G, basically.
Take them damn gloves off too.
You just don't like quarterbacks with gloves.
No, I don't.
Basically, you're looking at
they look like ushers.
Wow. But basically, basically, the Lions and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they were in the same situation. They just had bad starts. That's it.
Man, he need to take them damn gloves off.
he got little hands, man.
Man, come on.
Remember them old up there in Pittsburgh?
What was that? The Burger King commercial? I got these little hands. Those kitty piggy
I can understand when it's cold because Ben used to wear them when it was cold, but
yeah.
It be damn 90 degrees outside with humidity.
He can't grip that ball, man. He can't grip it. He can't grip it. His hands too small.
Man, come on, man.
It don't go past the laces, man.
Come on, man.
He got little fingers.
Come on. He could have did more hand exercises, especially if he right hand dominant. You know what I'm saying?
Remember in Deadpool when he got his hand, he cut his hand off.
Yeah, he had a baby hand.
That's Kenny Pickett. That's Kenny Pickett.
Hell yeah.
No, but the North gonna be crazy. That's probably the best division in the AFC right now.
Yep. I mean, that in the East.
Let Bengals fans tell it they run it.
I don't know. I just think the North. The North is more interesting because I just think with the East and all that stuff. East, I see a lot of smoke, but North, I just see a lot of.
He sees Aaron Rodgers.
That's what it is.
No, I knew he was gonna.
No, it's not even just him. There's a lot of unknowns.
Questions,
especially with Tua.
We want to know, is Tua going to be that guy? We want to know, can Lamar Jackson be effective with all his receiving core? We want to know. I mean, Cincinnati, I think, is going to be the more consistent. I mean, great. I know they lost a couple of key players, but will they be able to hold their thing with the North? I don't know.
They haven't been. What?
They're 2-8 against the Browns in the last 10 games.
But we
can't do this with the Bengals.
Watch out for
we
the Browns.
We can't do this shit with the Bengals. Listen, the Bengals was a fumble away from losing a football game. Mm-hmm. They haven't had a true division lead in that division in God knows how long. Like, they don't make it out that division consistently. Like,
no.
You have a healthy Lamar, that changes everything. I mean, and
I agree.
Pittsburgh beat their ass. We won
because they played them back. They played them back to back. As a matter of fact, because they played them in week 18. Then they turned around and played them because
what made it barely making it out that damn division.
Yeah, because what made it crazy was it. And I mean, you can make it argue both sides and everything because the Bengals had to win that game. Otherwise, the Ravens would have had home field for that wild card game.
Yeah.
But because that North is going to be crazy. The East,
but that's the thing. Bengals fans always be like, they act like they rule the North, and they don't. They don't. No, they can roll into a Thursday night game in Cleveland and get their doors blown off.
Ruling the division,
they're not the true top tier team in that division. I mean, it's a coin flip from one year to the next.
They better watch out for Cleveland. They
come. Exactly.
Yes. They come.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson is back.
They got Zadarius Smith and
Thank
Miles
you.
Garrett on.
Thank
Oh
you.
man,
Thank you.
Joe Burrow's
Thank
gonna be running for his life.
Thank you.
You know Orlando Brown gonna let that
Thank
dude
you.
go through.
And you know he can't deal with speed rush. So imagine what's gonna happen when they play Pittsburgh and TJ is on there giving him all the
It's
work.
gonna be like a wide open
Big
door.
time.
Just come on in.
You know what I'm saying?
7-Eleven, baby. 24 hours.
You know what I'm
7-Eleven.
saying? Cincinnati, but they fans act like, oh, you know, Joe Burrow. We got Burrow and Jamar and T. Like, but y'all don't have no running game. Y'all O-line cannot stay healthy one entire football year.
The defense lost a lot of pieces. Jesse Bates was a
yes,
piece.
Yes, dog.
Yes. To everything that defense did. He made that. He's one of those guys you can move.
That's my question about it. It's like as far as with that defense, they lost some key pieces. I'm like, will they be able to maintain? Like on the offensive side. Offensive side of the ball, you're not concerned because they're arguably one of the best adjusting teams when it comes to
you
half.
Still got Burrow, Chase, and Higgins.
But they look at it from what I heard. I can't remember what show I was watching. I think it was NFL Live yesterday. They were talking about the Bengals core is Burrow, Jamar, T, and Logan Wilson. Like that's what they feel like their core is of their team. So they paying all of these young guys. Because, you know, Burrow wants his contract, which they working on. And I think next was
T. Higgins.
And then they were dealing with Jamar. And that's why they went so young on defense. You know, they got the kid last year from Michigan and everything that they lost defensively. So they banking on, well, we draft. They think they feel like they drafted well. But you still got to worry about Trey Hendrickson's contract when it comes up. Reader.
The other defensive end.
The other defensive end.
Hubbard,
yeah.
I think that's why they drafted Miles Murphy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they feel like, well, we drafted defensively to get by with these rookie contracts, and hopefully we can keep these kids until, you know, they play out these rookie contracts. But what if they outplay these deals? You know what I'm saying? And then you in a situation, 2-3 years later, where you're paying a player that super exceeded that contract. So you kind of fucked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't understand the thought process. Like they think they can pull off what the Chiefs pulled off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. And they not the Chiefs.
The Chiefs
are ahead of schedule. They would have went to Super Bowl last year.
The Chiefs are ahead of schedule. Just look at their secondary. That's why they were able to bolster up their linebacking core the way they did.
Yep.
Because look, getting Tranquil would have been out of the question.
Absolutely.
If their secondary was still playing at the way they were in week 1.
Yep.
But because they improved went to a corner. And we started to see some promise and everything, they added Tranquil, which adds tackling, which actually helps out your Willie Gaze. That might be one of those contracts we might have to talk about probably in the future as far as with Willie Gaze, would he be able to stay? And I'm on the fence about it right now. But Bolton is definitely staying. I can definitely see that.
I think you got to pay Bolton. You got to pay Bolton, Snead for me. Like those are the two guys that.
And then also you got to consider. I agree. And then you got to consider on the other side. You got to consider paying Creed Humphrey because I think he's got about 2 years. I think something like that. It's gone by so quick. Too. It's gonna be tough.
Well, the thing about Snead. The thing about Snead, on last Tuesday when I had Caleb James from Arrowhead Pride on, we were talking about Snead and just asking him about Shamari Connor. Do you think he's a replacement for Snead because he does some of the same things? He was saying that this season, don't be surprised if Shamari Connor is more so the box safety guy who they use on the blitzes because teams tend to figure out your tendencies. So they're gonna know Snead now is a blitzing corner.
But they've known that for what the past 3 years, though, right?
True, but I'm just saying, Spags might be like, all right, I'm gonna use this Shamari Connor.
Mix it up
but what if this kid? But here's the other thing: what if this kid doesn't pick it up like that? And what if he's more suited to do something else on his defense? Like, But I keep hearing all these fans say trade Chris, trade Snead, and I'm like, are y'all even being realistic? Y'all asking for some kids to come in here and replace guys that have won ball games for this team. You know what I'm saying? Not solely on their backs, but their impacts alone contributed to wins for this Chiefs defense.
Personally, I think that
comfortable with that.
Personally, I think it's set up. I think V set it up to where you could pay a Snead and a Chris Jones.
Me too.
Because there's nobody on that nobody else on the defensive line needs to get paid.
Right.
They don't need to get paid.
Right.
It's only Chris Jones. And then Snead is the only one in the secondary who needs to get paid.
Yep.
Because everybody else is young guys.
And one's gone. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So you could pay Snead and bite the bullet. You could pay Chris Jones and bite the bullet because you're fine. Because by the time their contracts are up, then Trent McDuffie's contract.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and then George, and then
so that's what I was curious about because I've seen Connor Shamari. Is that his name? Shamari Connor. I've seen him play, and don't get me wrong, he balled for Virginia Tech. I mean, it's a long history of DBs and safeties for Virginia Tech being successful.
Right.
But who's to say that he will be able to transition at 100%?
Agree.
You know what I mean?
Well,
here's the thing with Snead. I think
Snead's not even asking for top 5 money.
That too, and I think Snead, if you look at Snead's production last year, if I gave you a blind test of Snead's production, you're saying he's a top 5 guy. I tell you, L'Jarius Snead, you're gonna say he's not top 5. But if Jalen Ramsey put up the numbers he put up last year, we're not having this discussion.
Yeah, people are paying Jalen top 1, 2 type money if he put up Snead's numbers last year.
Snead is underrated.
You're talking about
underrated.
You're talking about the kind of contract with Beaches, as far as with him, as far as putting that contract together and whatnot. But what they're asking for Spags, what Spags did was absolutely incredible, because you're not talking about not 1, not 2, but 3 rookies in your secondary.
Yeah,
4. You're right, 4.
Yeah,
and it looked better than when we had all those veterans.
Yeah, but look at the guys that they drafted. Like, they didn't go out and get the big name DBs last year to come in and fill those roles from college. You know what I'm saying? They stuck to what they knew would be successful in Spags' defense. Linked.
Only Trent was the big name.
Yeah, Trent was the big name.
And they were surprised that he slipped.
But you couldn't deny Trent's talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you saw it in college, you was like, yep, I would definitely get that. But when you look at Watson and you look at what's her other homeboy?
Williams.
Williams. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at them, nobody else heard of them. You know what I'm saying? People weren't saying he's a top 5 corner, he's a top 7, top 8 guy coming out. You know what I'm saying? Veach and his scouts felt like that, and they fit. They fit this scheme. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they wouldn't transition playing for Dallas or playing for Buffalo. Hell, even Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? But that length, being able to cover a lot of ground super quick, even if they get off the line, you know what I'm saying? That fits for Spags.
That speed.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you look at Snead. Snead's got length. He's a longer dude. You know what I mean? Like,
they drafted a whole bunch of athletes, because when you looked at the cornerback room before the one we got now, it was a lot of old and slow guys. It was a Rashad Breeland who was out there at 31 years old.
And I think if Justin Reed is the long-term answer at a safety spot, at some point maybe he transitions over to the free. You know what I'm saying? If Cook doesn't pan out, and maybe Connor, because he's a small, thicker dude, he kind of reminds me more of the Badger.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So maybe he transitions into a strong safety. You know what I'm saying? And you're not dependent on him to play corner.
He's listed as a safety.
Okay. So he 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So he would fit into, he couldn't even, maybe the rotation in that big nickel then. You know what I'm saying? Because you would have Cook, you would have Reed, but he could fit into that big nickel, because you would still have Trent and Snead outside. But then that takes reps away from Watson and Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good problem to have, though.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Better than that problem we had a couple years ago with
Right. And you still can't account for, God forbid, somebody ends up having to miss 4 or 5 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
always good to have depth. You know?
yeah.
They
And
got
also,
a lot of depth at that
and look
position.
at and I don't know if he's gonna make the roster, but this kid Nick Jones that they got in the
Yep.
7th round,
Yeah.
this kid is a ball hawk, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
He's a ball hawk. He got hurt last year. That's why he dropped to the 7th round. It wasn't because he was bad last year. He just got hurt. He was out for the season. So
got it.
Man, I could see him being on the roster.
Yeah.
He could be like another Jalen Watson. Be like, where'd this guy come from?
Right.
At the very least, if he shines in special teams, you know.
Yeah.
Because that's what they see in Shamari Connor too. They said he's a big special teams guy, you know.
Which they got to replace anyway, because we lost Kemp and some other key players that play special teams. So
Lamons and
so they trying to get strong, faster, and their special teams was a problem last year anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They they're gonna try to booster that up. Dave Tote probably had his hands on all, on the Nick Jones pick. Like, this kid right here could be a special teams guy.
And they went and got a lot of guys that can return too. Like we should not be seeing Sky Moore or Kadarius Toney out there this season at all.
Well, you put them out there.
Circumstance.
Well, I mean, they went with Reek. You know what I'm saying, against Buffalo.
And Reek's special.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so special times calls for special people.
Not everybody got that unique Reek speed.
But I mean, shit, you saw when
we see what Kadarius did
in the Super Bowl, like he flipped it.
Now Kadarius has I ain't gonna call him Tyreek Hill, but he has Tyreek Hill like ability.
Yeah, he got shakes. He can shake.
I just think he shakes too many times.
But when he right though,
oh no, he putting dudes on skates.
Right when he right.
He's like dudes on skates.
When he got you rocking and rolling, baby.
I think Kadarius Toney is gonna be good, man. I just think if he puts,
I just worry about him getting hurt.
Exactly. He on an AD plan. He falls, and you just hope he get up. I told you I got nervous when he scored his first touchdown. But this dude hopping on one leg. Please tell me something ain't wrong. I'm like, okay. And then I started.
I thought he was trolling.
And then I was convinced maybe he's trolling. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Then he got injured like that. Had like a week or two. I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
So since we there, so who do y'all think is gonna be the breakout guy in the wide receiver room?
Sky Moore.
I actually think it's gonna be Rashee Rice. I think he's gonna be wide receiver 1. Maybe not to start the year, but by the end of week 17, when you look at the way that he plays, it's very similar to Juju. They want a guy like that can catch over the middle of the field, helps Travis Kelce out a lot, compliments him well. So I think Rashee Rice. I mean, I know he's the rookie, and Andy Reid does not have a history of playing the rookies, but this rookie feels different for me, at least just based on his skill set. Based on what we got in the past with Sky Moore being, like you said, a smaller school guy, Mecole Hardman being really limited with his route running. So I definitely think that Rice is going to get the biggest chance this year.
I agree with Chris. I think it's Sky.
This guy. I just think he had that separation at the line of scrimmage, man. I just think now he don't have to think so much. He can just go out there and play his game. You know what I'm saying?
Go look at. I know this is an off-season video, but go look at that catch where he caught that ball at the highest point.
I saw that.
And if you'll notice, once he catches it, his body is already turning to get upfield mid-air. Before he hits the ground, he's all the way right. Like that's growth. That's awareness. That's feeling confident in the system enough to be able to play without thinking now. So I think what we'll see from Sky is going to be like, oh shit. It's going to be a lot of oh shit moments. Like
I think him getting that touchdown in the Super Bowl was a
confidence boost. Yeah.
Of all the times, and I think the way he performed, even just in that game alone. I thought it could potentially be the turning point. I'm like, okay, this is like we didn't see it all season, but to do this on the biggest stage.
Well, Well, but go back and remember that Chargers game. Though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That Chargers game for him, like, whew, I still love watching that game. I watched that game like a week ago.
Hey, if Steve Smith say he's a star, he's a star.
Yes,
baby.
no, yes, no, yes, no. And he kind of remind me of
Steve
Steve.
Smith tough,
too.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people don't see that comp, but he reminds me of Steve.
He reminds me of Steve. And I always said this since day one when they drafted him. You can go look at my draft video. I said he reminds me a lot of Julian Edelman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see Jeremy Macklin too. Like the way he runs his routes.
I see that.
Mm-hmm. I think if he could just stay healthier than Macklin, I think he'll be all right, man. I like I said, I just think he's gonna break out this year.
Yeah.
If Kadarius Toney stays healthy, then the sky's the limit for Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
Especially if he continues to build that rookie. He's already got a rapport with Mahomes. So
if he plays close to all 17 games, like even if it's just 15, I think he's breaking 1,000 yards.
Yeah. Okay, so right now, KT, Sky, MVS, Rasheed. So it's 5 or 6. So who's the other 2?
Justin Ross, baby, let's go.
Yep.
Justin Ross.
That's my biggest question mark. That's why I said I don't know who the breakout is. Like I saw, like you saw spurts of it, like we talking about. We saw Rice. You saw him on the big. Even so, it was like some of the bigger teams. Like obviously, Houston was one of the big threats out of their conference, and how they perform and everything. I could definitely
Cincinnati was another big threat.
Yeah, it's definitely there with him. As far as they can talking about Sky Moore and everything, you definitely saw that there with the confidence stuff like that. With this Ross kid, if he performs anything like but on the NFL level, and he could be that unicorn that nobody talking about. If he that guy,
let me tell you something.
Sign me up for a Justin Ross jersey.
Yep.
And I'll go from there.
If Justin Ross becomes a number 1 wide receiver in his offense, Brett Bees deserves whatever he wants. And that is the biggest steal in history.
He could have the Arrowhead Stadium named after him for all I care.
Yes.
Give him a statue. Give him the key to the city.
Yeah.
Get his Hall of Fame jacket right.
Give him a private helicopter. He can go wherever he wants.
You can name a dinner plate after him. I don't care. I do not care.
So that's 5. So who's the last?
Richie James, you got to figure is going to be in the mix.
I think it's a battle between Richie James, Justin Watson, and probably Justin Ross. I think those 3 are going to be battling.
You said Richie James, Justin Watson, and John Ross.
Maybe John, but I think Justin Ross is going to.
Yeah, I think that.
Because I think the top 4.
Well, Justin is the kid from Clemson.
Yeah.
Okay. So
because the top 4 that they claim I think it's solidified as Samaji, Sky.
Are you in a blender again, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, so the bottom so we basically gonna assume the last 2 wide receivers. Okay, so Justin Ross, Justin Watson, who else? Richie James, John Ross, what's that other kid that they got? I think he's got 2 last names.
I'm missing somebody.
He's got 2 last names. That other kid.
Ishmore, whatever.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali.
Right. So that's 5 guys. Yeah. So out of those 5 guys, who do y'all like? I know I said 5.
Justin Ross. The white boy gonna make it, man.
You think so?
There's always one honorary every single time.
But I don't know. I think this one's different.
And he plays special teams. He's a
but I think this one. I think this is different with Watson. Though
I do too.
Only reason why because he was up a majority of the season, so they got to see his entire body of work from throughout 17.
Yeah, and they gave him a 2-year contract.
But I mean, there ain't no money on that deal,
contract
though.
ain't guaranteed, though.
No, it's $1 million contract over 2 years, and
that still says something to me to say, I want y'all to sign you for 2 years because we at least think you're a special teams guy.
I mean, but just like everybody else, like he could get outplayed.
Yeah, in July.
Okay,
that's
if that happens, if that happens, of course, get him back.
Especially since he's in that bottom half,
happen.
And he's competing against Richie James, who played special teams in San Fran.
You know who else I think gonna get outplayed?
Huh?
You know who else I would think who's gonna get outplayed?
Who?
MVS.
You think so?
He's inconsistent, man. I'm sorry. Like, I appreciate what he did in the AFC Championship, even in the Jacksonville game.
Mm-hmm.
He had a nice little touchdown in there too. But I'm telling you, them young dudes start being more consistent than him.
But if you know the routes that he's good on, which is like the deep over route,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Granted, they're gonna take
a straight line.
Away. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They're gonna take that shit away when they see him now. You know what I'm saying? But so he's gonna have to add something else to two.
He added that quick out. He finally added that quick out route.
Justin Ross is a better route runner than him, and he's getting open on them better routes. If he's a better version of MVS, then I don't know, man.
You might be right.
Andy might be looking like, oh no.
Yeah, you might be right then.
He might be better than you.
With that. Yep.
I think Justin Ross is actually faster than MVS. I'm not going based on 40 times because that time was definitely skewed because he was still dealing with the foot injury at the time. But when you look at when you watch the tape, you can see the speed is there. That's undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and his route running is good too. So.
And he's 6'4".
Exactly. You can go up there and get it. He can run past you. Like he can muscle you. Like, like MVS don't play for like somebody who's 6'4".
No, he don't play big. Yeah.
No,
he plays like he's 5'11".
Yeah. That's always been him though. Like you look at him and you expect him to be able to hit you with a slant, some drag routes, give somebody some shakes. You know what I'm saying? Take a shot, and then you get him out there and you're like, bro, why you so light in the ass? Why your ass cheeks so clenched? Play. You know what I'm saying? You play like you just clenching your ass the whole game. Man, loosen your cheeks and run and play some damn ball, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You crazy.
My bad. Y'all know how this. Yeah.
But no.
My bad.
It's gonna be some interesting. That wide receiver room is gonna be interesting in camp.
My bad. Everyone's. My bad.
That camp battle in camp.
That's gonna be fun to see. I'm definitely looking forward to going out there.
It's nothing new to us though, because remember we had a couple of big names that didn't even make it last year. So
that's true. There was a couple guys I thought last year that would make it. Man, what's his name? He ended up going to Chicago. Darius Fountain. I thought he was gonna make it because he really showed some promise at the end of that.
He did.
That one. So I probably would have kept him over Watson. I think he actually had an injury though, so I think that played a big part of it.
Watson. What was that game that Watson actually played good in the preseason?
The Bears.
Yeah, he was good in that game. I thought and that's when I was on board. I was like,
me too.
I like Watson.
Everybody was on board with him at that point.
Then the season went along. I was like, I don't like this dude. He don't like to fight for the ball. He don't like to do nothing. Like,
he don't come back to get it. He drops it. He ruined Patrick Mahomes' probably best throw this season.
Yeah, it was that, and then also everybody was assuming that Gordon was going to be that guy because he had a full off season, and then he didn't make it. So
I was on that train too.
Like I said, you just have to prepare for the unexpected. That's just where I'm at with the receiver room.
Do y'all believe these rumors?
No.
If
there's no substance behind it, no. What's the latest rumor that I miss?
That they're looking for a veteran wide receiver?
No.
They haven't shown me that. I mean, when they went out there and added all these names in free agency, and then you drafted Rashee Rice. If you add a veteran at this point, you're pushing Rice to like wide receiver 5. Like, assuming you're adding a veteran, a top 3
and
wide
that's
receiver
my
veteran.
and that's my thing now. Like, if you okay, let's say they cut DeAndre Hopkins, and they're in on DeAndre Hopkins, who are we kicking out?
Yeah, exactly. Because somebody's not getting played.
Somebody's got to go.
It probably would be MVS at that point. I think at that point.
Look, if they're looking for anything to try to improve to make sure that it's right, they're more so looking to make sure that that edge situation is right. If there's any position, I would say it's on the football field.
And I would still want another interior defensive lineman too.
Mm-hmm.
I like the pick Coburn, and Nadi's been inconsistent. Talk about inconsistency.
We still got Turk coming back
here.
That's
true too. Turk coming back, but I would still like to throw in another veteran because Danny Shelton,
who didn't play at all.
He didn't play exactly. Didn't play at all last year. And I must call it like it is. When he showed up to training camp, he looked like he was 550 pounds.
But he can move.
He was moving. I was like, man, he's out of shape. Man. He's built like a tree. I don't know.
That's him. Go back and watch him in New England.
I saw them drills. He had that helmet, boy. He was moving. I'd be scared.
You need him because what he does is he eats blocks.
Yeah,
that's all he's supposed to do. He doesn't do anything else. When he was in New England, they were running a 3-4.
You can't do that here because ain't nobody gonna be like, let's double Danny so we can let Chris Jones go right by.
No, listen. In New England, they ran a 3-4. So the spotlight was on him.
Mm-hmm.
You put him in this situation to eat those blocks when they want to go Dana inside or they want to leave Chris inside. That frees everything up. He's taking 2 blocks by himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And think about that net. If they wanted to get cocky and say we're going to leave him in here on a pass down, you talk about Mike Dana being inside, having Chris outside. You know what I'm saying?
I can see
with Big George or hopefully Frank.
Hopefully.
It's
or even the Yannick or even in the Ngakwe still out there. I'm just saying, I would take him over Chris, honestly.
I want Frank back.
1-year deal.
I want Frank.
I would take him over Frank. Yeah.
I want Frank back. I want Frank back.
I've
been thinking about Frank. This. I'm
it's
like,
blood in the water,
okay,
man.
So we get Chris taken care of.
Yep.
You don't even have to be in a rush to get Frank back. I mean, because you can bring Frank.
You can
back
wait till like training camp.
Go. Yeah.
He knows how to stuff his run.
Yeah. But I hope they bring Frank back.
And they were talking about Cleveland signing Frank, and I don't think that's going to happen now with the Zadarius Smith trade.
Yeah,
that was before that.
Maybe Frank is turning shit down. Maybe Frank's like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Could be, because I thought Cleveland, it seemed like he was going to sign there the way Juan was talking.
Man.
But I'm just thinking for Frank though, it's like, granted, the dollar, at the bottom at the end of the day, that's what's going to matter. But he's going to make sure that he put himself in contention to where he can get that record.
Yeah,
where he can get that ring.
He knows he can get that in Kansas City. He knows
he's had a taste of winning. Yep. He's had a taste of winning.
In the book, you're in the books.
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Ever.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Frank need to come on back home. Chris already signed. Chris been campaigning for that shit for the longest now.
He
ain't even talking about his deal. He talking about Frank coming back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's their brother. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You need to come back home.
And you need to pay Chris too. You need to pay them both.
Yeah, and you see how Spags always rotates. They got the kid Herring. And don't forget, like, listen, let me tell you something. What's homeboy that came from San Francisco? I can't say his last name.
Omenihu.
Sure.
Yeah. He says sure.
He is a dog. He can play inside and outside. And he can ball, bro. Like, he was in that rotation in San Fran, like.
And that San Fran defensive line is obviously
it wasn't
stacked.
a joke.
He got he put up like 5 sacks and limited snap counts.
But that's the kind of player that the Chiefs like. Those that are versatile. That's always been their staple for the last couple of years. If there's anything in their language that they speak about more, is like if you're not versatile,
Yeah.
Can't
9
play
times out of 10, they're
multiple
not going to pick you.
positions.
And on passing downs, he was primarily playing inside with Armstead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
he can play, bro. Like
Maybe you put him on the inside, passing downs, him with Chris, Frank
put
on
him in there
the
with Chris.
Frank
Yep.
on one edge, George on the other.
George
Then
on
you
the other.
rotate FAU in and out with
Yep.
that.
They
And
don't want one trick
like I
ponies.
said,
That
you
works.
still got Dana, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying, who was killing inside last year. That speed, woo, that speed paid dividends.
He just owns like the AFC West quarterbacks. I think most of his sacks came against
Yeah,
either
for
Russell
real.
Wilson or Justin Herbert.
Now, Dana balled out last year when he was
Yeah,
Yeah,
young.
he did. Yeah, he did. That NASCAR finally showed its face, and it dominated when it happened, man. It was beautiful, bro.
And then you had, like you said, Turk coming back, who he was having a really good couple years ago. He had a really good season.
He was actually having a good beginning
Yes.
of the season, and then he got hurt.
Then he got hurt, and nobody realized it. No, I didn't notice he had tore his ACL. You know what I'm saying? Like he was getting busy, bro.
Yeah, he was.
I'm excited for. I think this defense is gonna be really good this year.
Yeah.
I think I think this is, we're looking at it possibly a top 10 defense.
You get Patrick Mahomes a top 10 defense. That's over.
And that's the plan. Because we can avoid getting in them shootouts and stuff like that. It's unnecessary. We like to watch him let the ball fly and do what he need to do.
Yeah.
Now it's just Andy and Nagy just run the football.
Run the damn football. You ain't never lied. Shit.
Man,
compliment the defense, man.
You know what I'm saying?
They need to do it. They need to, but they haven't shown me anything that makes me think they're willing to do that besides this first drive of that Super Bowl in the second half.
Yeah.
7
also,
out of
did
10
y'all
times
notice
ran,
who showed up at camp yesterday?
Yeah.
Clyde
was there.
I've given up on Clyde.
You can't until he gone. You can't until he gone.
That contract year.
I just don't think he gets the opportunity to prove it. I think he could prove it, but I just don't think he gets the right opportunities.
Maybe God willing, they realized that Clyde can do the same things that McKinnon can do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that recipe, teams don't know how to play Clyde at that point. Because if you go back and look at his tape, he can't pick the right hole. You know what I'm saying? His vision is terrible. He's not strong enough. He's not tough enough. Yada, yada, yada. And then, boom, he comes in there and he's doing the same things that McKinnon is doing. And you're like, oh, fuck. They found a way to get him out in space.
Yep.
That changes everything.
It's going to be it's going to be interesting because even on some of these third downs, and now it looks like they're probably going to go through this year without a fullback on their roster.
You got Blake Bell, though.
Yeah, he's basically a fullback.
Yeah, Blake Bell's probably going to be that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's fine.
But I do agree with Clarence about CEH, though, because, and I'm going to be interested to see, like, from day one at training camp, like, kind of how he shows up and kind of just how he performs throughout training camp, because it's a contract year, and
exactly
if you're getting outplayed at training camp in a contract year, I don't see it in the cards.
He gonna pull that D Ford special.
Yeah, he's gonna have to ball the fuck out of camp. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not talking about the offside. He gonna have that one good
he better not be doing the false
and then he gonna sucker a team like the Niners, like how they got suckered.
Yeah.
And then they found out the truth.
Yeah. I think D4 would have been okay, but I think he got hurt too much.
D4?
Yeah.
Man,
I think he would have been okay, but
his first step was crazy though.
Yeah. Respectfully, fuck D4.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he was still a good player.
He stopped Pat for getting his first ring. There's only 155 in his name.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Travis Kelce said at the first parade, 5'5", and he's not offsides.
For real, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, D4 broke my heart with that shit. Of all the mistakes you can make, and all the times you
A
can
little
make,
technical mistake like that.
you make that mistake at
Yeah.
that time against that quarterback.
Didn't he do it again in the Pro Bowl that year?
I don't
Something
know.
like that. I could have sworn he did.
I'm just
He
saying,
was
man.
probably just trolling us at that.
Do you
well,
know?
we got to put some of the blame too. I know we like to blame D Ford for that too, but Bob Sutton had this problem his whole time in Kansas City.
He had to go.
Too many
He had to go.
penalties. His defenses were undisciplined. They didn't know where to
Yeah,
line up.
I remember Eric Berry yelling at that whole secondary.
Yeah.
When they were playing the Broncos the second time around.
He was cussing out Orlando Scandrick.
Because that defense was just undisciplined. I put a lot of that blame on Bob Sutton too. You got to have your guys
who
ready
was
for that.
guarding Gronk down the sideline when Gronk made that crucial catch.
I think it was him
against the Chiefs in Arrowhead.
I think it was him.
It was him, but I think by that point, Barry had taken a step back.
He was on
don't matter.
Leg. He was on one leg, man.
It don't listen. Don't do that.
He was.
He took like two steps back. We're
not doing that.
He never played for a team after that, did he?
Eric Berry. It don't matter, Ty.
That was it.
Shouldn't have been out there. It's man-to-man coverage against Gronk.
No,
that's on Bob Sutton.
Who at the time was considered the top tight end.
Yeah, that was.
Why you gonna put Eric Berry on him if you know he can't cover him? Single coverage.
That's
man to man.
That's Bob's. That's what I mean by Bob Sutton not having his defense.
He should have had his safety over the top.
So y'all ain't never heard of a player going up to a coach and saying, "This ain't me. I'm not doing that." So Eric Berry couldn't have said, "You need to give me some help over the top."
Well, hell, it was too late. He already caught the ball.
When he called the play, before they called the play.
But Clarence, the knock on Bob Sutton was the players would come to him and say, "We need to make adjustments," and he was stubborn in setting his own ways.
So what would you do if he said, "Okay, I'm gonna put you in single coverage against Gronk"? Would you even take your ass out there?
Eric Berry,
I'd be like, man,
Eric
I'm
Berry
gonna go my ass down.
Eric Berry was at that point. I will say this: Eric Berry had kind of had a history of shutting Gronk down. Now, this was Eric Berry before he took two steps back, though.
Yeah.
This was Eric Berry before he only played 1.5 football games that year.
Yeah. If you got Eric, okay, I'm gonna ask all three of y'all. If y'all had Eric Berry's talent and going into the offseason, y'all knew I'm not the same guy. And then you get to that situation where you've been up and down the entire season and you starting to see it within yourself. You're not the same player no more. You can still play the game, but you're just not that dude like you once were.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to that situation and you're saying, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can get him one time. But in this situation, I may need some help.
I think that was the level. I think that contributes to the level of dysfunction where that defense was, because that had to be one of the most dysfunctional teams. Where I don't think there was one person. I don't think there was even one DB period on that roster that could even cover him. That's how bad it was. And they were asking Eric Berry, who had only played like 2 games prior to that, to cover him. I don't even think he played the whole Bronco game when he cussed out Scandrick. I don't even think he did. That's how bad it was. Like I seen a lot of players get yelled at and chewed at and like on the football field, but not like that.
And he didn't play the Colts game.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
In the divisional round, he did not play the Colts game, and it was bad.
That secondary was just terrible. Bob Sutton was terrible. Everything about that defense was terrible. Besides Chris Jones,
no adjustments.
No.
Like, come on, man.
It was terrible, man. It was terrible.
You know, he's confused. Like he don't know what happened or how it happened.
He was standing over there.
What's going on, guys?
Exactly.
I remember the game where Marcus Peters was cussing him out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was that the Jets game?
It might have been. Justin had to hold him back.
Mm-hmm.
I think him, Gunther Cunningham, all of them had the same stance at one point in their various careers.
I don't think it was. No, that wasn't a Jets game. Alex was quarterbacking the Jets game. No, it wasn't a Jets game.
No, that was just.
I just remember him. It was a night game because he was cussing him out. Letting him have. He was letting him have it.
Yeah, Bob Sutton was just absolutely bad.
Yeah, he was.
He was terrible. He was terrible.
Yeah, he was too old. He
was.
He
was out of touch.
Yeah, out of touch. Yep, out of touch, like a motherfucker.
He thought it was still 1991.
You know what I'm saying? When he could get away with that zero shit.
I only understand, and even so, to understand that logic, just like you're saying, Clarence, what makes you think a guy that only played 2 games that year can cover arguably the best tight end at that time?
Yep.
That made
he should have never been put in that position.
And that's what I'm thinking. I think Barry understood that there's not any other person, so he's going to give it his best shot.
That could guard him. Yeah, that's fair too. Looking at that unit, like.
Plus, he probably knew Bob Sutton wasn't going to listen anyway, so he was like, what's saying anything?
He was just looking around like,
yeah, that makes sense.
or I mean, there's another perspective you could look at it too. You could look at it, well, if I'm gonna go out with a bang, I'm gonna bring him down with me. So he probably got him.
Hey, it worked because they both gone.
Eric got the job done like a motherfucker.
Thank you for your services, sir.
Straight out. Yeah,
Bob said
I'm about to sacrifice myself for the team.
Did that, so hopefully you won't have to go through that,
right? Sacrifice myself for y'all. I love y'all, man. Been real.
This is it.
Water, bitch. My name is Eric. Y'all know what I did for you, bitch.
Just think about it. Let's say we won that game, man. D4 got the lineup offsides. Bob Sutton gets fired the next season.
Probably because the Rams is probably scoring 40 plus.
Well, no, because then the public would have got what they wanted. They would have got that rematch of that high. They would have got that rematch of that high scoring shootout. Yep. That's exactly what happened.
And it would have been the same game over again. Bob Sutton would have had the same game plan and everything. He would have run the same play sheet and everything.
Hell yeah.
Because Rams and Patriots, that's probably one of the worst Super Bowls.
It was terrible, wasn't it?
I didn't even, I'll be honest, I didn't even watch it.
I didn't watch it either. I went to work.
It was terrible.
McVay looked like, that whole entire team looked like they had never been on the big stage. That's exactly what
McVay
it looked like.
Starstruck.
And Belichick just ate them up.
Mm-hmm.
They could have beat them with the backup. That's how bad it was.
And ain't that sad? Because was it that year, or was that the year before? Which year? It had to be the year before when Todd Gurley got hurt just before the playoffs, and they had signed. I think the dude used to be a running back for Denver.
C.J. Anderson.
Yes, was that the year before?
I think that was the year. I feel like that was the year. I feel like that
so
was
the year he got hurt, the year Todd got hurt, they played Dallas in Los Angeles. Maybe it was the same year then, because they had played Dallas in Los Angeles, beat Dallas. Then I think they went to.
Yeah, I think it was that year.
Maybe it was the same year.
But I think Gurley was back for the Super Bowl, right? I think that was part of the problem too. Gurley tried to come back. Yeah, he tried to come back probably too early.
Well, no, so this was the year after because Sammy wasn't on the squad. Sammy was here, right? Sammy played in the AFC title game against the Patriots, right?
Mm-hmm. No, he was there.
He was the chief.
Yeah.
So it was the year after then. Okay, yeah.
I thought, I forgot they brought Sammy in that year because I thought they brought Sammy and Tyrann Mathieu in the same year.
C.J. Anderson was there that year.
No, they brought Sammy the year before because that's when we was like, who y'all gonna cover? You know? Kids, Sammy Watkins. Yeah, because Sammy was coming off that good year he had with the Rams.
But C.J. Anderson was on that losing Super Bowl team with the Rams. Okay. He was.
Okay. I mean, that offense was still explosive. You know what I'm saying? You still had Brandon Cooks and Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods.
Yeah.
Robert Woods was healthy. You know what I'm saying?
The offensive line was actually really good.
Offensive line was a monster, you know.
That's
They
what
had Whitworth on there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He was anchor.
They just ran into a defense. That's it.
Jared Goff was killing motherfuckers with that play action. Still, I mean, he was dicing motherfuckers up.
He
with
was
that
smoking us. I know that.
You know what I'm saying?
He's smoking Bob Sutton like nothing.
I'm still mad we lost that. It was a great game, but I'm mad we lost that game. Man. I wanted us to win that game. Man.
Bob Sutton really cost us like a whole year.
Just Mahomes just ran out of gas in that one.
Yeah,
I mean, you couldn't have.
It was a learning curve for him. It was a learning game for him. He learned from that game. He really did learn.
Because he threw an interception at the end of that game, but
he was just gassed. You couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. He scored all these points, and your defense can't stop anybody.
Because he took that pass, he was like, "Fuck it."
We're not going to stop him anyway, so what the hell?
Fuck it.
It really was, though.
I think it hurt more. I think it hurt more because we had just traded Marcus Peters, and he's the one to get the interception. I was like, no, I don't want him to get it.
Yep.
That was a classic game.
Anybody but him.
And it was at the Coliseum, like historical.
It was still a good game though. Like
it was fun. It was fun to watch, but I think that was one of the many strikes that Sutton had that year.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in the regular
12
season,
strikes
you don't care
every week. It was a strike.
It was bad, bro. One of the, what was the worst defense? That defense? Or was it 2003?
No, it has to be that defense because when you're that close to the Super Bowl.
Oh no, you're going too far back, Chris. Now.
Oh yeah, you don't count.
I think when you're that close,
Chet Green days.
Yes, that was worse because they couldn't. You mean to tell me you couldn't get one damn punt? Yeah. You couldn't make them punt one time? I get it, it's Peyton, edge, but you can't force them to punt once.
One
damn punt. That's all you needed.
Sutton had quite a few of those.
One stop. You couldn't get one stop.
Sutton had quite a few of those.
Who was the coach? Greg Robinson. He was horrible. He was terrible. Oh, he was bad.
Yeah, Greg Robinson. He was couldn't get one damn punt. And Peyton was good. Peyton had a squad though. He had Edge, he had Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark. But you mean tell me you can't make these bastards?
We was going back. We was going back and forth with him.
Yes,
we was going back
with him. Dog.
Priest was balling.
Man, that offense wasn't no joke.
Tony Gonzalez,
Eddie Kennison. You know what I'm saying? Got Eddie Kennison the ball.
Even though I couldn't stand Eddie Kennison, he's the reason why
I couldn't either.
He's the reason why we lost that Denver game.
Yep,
because he got on the post game. He was like, "Yeah, I don't want to brag, but we about to put something on their ass." So I was like, "No, Eddie." Rod Smith and McCaffrey smoked. They smoked. They was killing us. I just remember Rod Smith. Hey, bro, when you get some of these,
yeah, dog.
Hey, bro, when you get these, you talk that trash. I was like, damn, man.
Hell yeah.
Rod Smith was a beast, man. People don't remember Rod Smith. Rod Smith used to kill us.
At them long arms, dog. Long arms.
Kill us.
Killing on that post route. It was always the post.
Mm-hmm. Always killing us, man. People don't talk about Rod Smith enough. Rod Smith was a ball.
Need to give him his respect, dog. Rod wasn't no joke.
No, he was.
Yeah, I don't know. Between them two, both
of them were bad. Both of them were bad.
Yeah, both of them was terrible.
I gotta go with 2018 because I really feel like it stopped us from getting that ring. I mean,
it
did, but also even back in that 2003 season too, because I think Priest Holmes had broken some records that year too.
He had broke LP's touchdown record that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 28.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's back when running backs had 28 touchdowns. Time.
Yeah, I'm like, what? 28 touchdowns for a running back?
Yes. Rushing and receiving. Yeah.
They had like 700, 1,700.
Yeah, He broke Marshall Faulk's single season touchdown record. That's what he
How many
did.
LT
carries
had
did
broke
he
it
have?
first.
Along with Emmitt Smith too.
Remember, LT broke it the year before, and
Mhm.
then Priest came back and did better than LT.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's what LT had, like 22?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, something
And
like
Priest,
that.
I mean, just blew it out.
Yeah,
Yep.
blew that thing out the water.
Man,
That I remember that because that was like definitely when the AFC West all was about the running backs at the time.
Yep.
It was them back
That
and
all,
forth.
but that offensive line was special, man. That was one
Yeah,
of the
it was.
best offensive lines
was.
ever.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Willie Rove, John Tate,
God, Willie.
Brian Waters, Will Shields.
I think we need to start.
Casey Winston.
I think we need to start considering every time the Chiefs start 9-0, we need to start being careful and look out for something because every time they had a 9-0 start, because even when I think it was Alex Smith, he had like a 9-0 start.
9-0, and it was like 2-5 after that or something like that.
Lie. That 9-0 start was so fluky.
It was
first year with Alex Smith. That
so
thing was so fluky. Every week,
we had the easiest schedule.
Every week, the backup quarterback was playing.
We played Jacksonville to kick things off. The quarterback was, I think it was Blaine Gabbert, or it was one of the Blaine Gabbert or Chad Henne at the time.
We playing nothing but backups. We got to 9-0, then we faced a real team with a real quarterback.
It was over with.
I knew this team was that good.
Speaking of Blaine Gabbert,
he's our backup.
Does he win that backup job for real?
I think he does.
I think he does too, because he's the veteran.
You got that Tom Brady sympathy ring. I'm sure he learned a couple of things.
They like those.
I think Andy wants
Michelle, but Shane be making some really nice throws in the season when he gets those opportunities. Like,
no, he does.
But sometimes, and I've seen it too in the preseason, I'm like, dude, you're not Mahomes. I know you've been working out with him, but you need to stop. He'd be over here running sideways. Though I'm like, man, what are you doing?
He's a victim of his surroundings. You know what I'm saying?
Product
of a lot of time.
I'm like, you just need to sit in the pocket and just throw it quick.
Hey, man.
Shit, Pat may be the reason why he doing shit. Hey, don't try to do it the way we did in practice the other day. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, fuck yeah, Pat.
Pat doing it for the confidence.
He fucking laughing at him on the sideline.
Go look at that Bears game last year, and there's one throw he made where I think he was like over the line of scrimmage. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're not Mahomes. Stop trying to throw on the run.
And then Andy Reid looking at him like, all right,
Pat gonna get caught. Don't get caught.
That's why they signed Gabbert.
It's close. I'm close from doing it.
I mean, but fuck, man, Blaine Gabbert, dog.
I know it's not. It's.
Fuck.
I mean,
I feel you.
He's a backup.
Like I said,
I wanted an athletic backup.
Yeah, he got that ring. Yeah, he did.
He got at least some kind of tip from Tom Brady somewhere in there.
I think it's a Missouri nod.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah. That was one of the second things I thought about.
The Missouri
like guy, yeah.
It was probably either him or Chase Daniels.
Yeah, because Chase was a damn good backup.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember when Alex Smith went down his second year here, and then Chase stepped up against the Chargers and won that game. We almost made the playoffs.
Tough times.
Man. Now the top team in the AFC, best quarterback in the league, best team, in my opinion, out of both divisions. I think Chiefs are the top.
You would have told me 20 years ago the Chiefs would be the favorites at any time.
That part.
I'd have been like, man, stop lying. Don't play with me. I slap you.
If you would have told me they was gonna have the greatest quarterback in the league, I would have said you on some bullshit. You do crack.
Yeah. hard crack.
There was nothing.
Crack that hasn't been stepped on.
You know what I'm
saying?
Go
back to the corner and hold that sign because you don't know what you're talking about.
There's no way anybody could have seen this happen.
It's a doggone shame. Everybody would assume that you're a bandwagon fan, and you got to pull out a picture from back in 2002 when you had the jersey on. Look, I was a fan. Now shut up.
Run down credentials, baby. I was there, baby. What you talking about the heartache, the pain.
I remember the highlight was the fact that we was on Hard Knocks. Like
that team was terrible.
That team was terrible, but we thought it was going to be special because Larry Johnson had got his contract. So we was expecting Larry Johnson to be that guy. Eddie Kennison was still there. Tony was still there. JD was still there. It was a battle between Brody Croyle and Todd Collins. Was it Todd Collins?
Or was it Tyler Thigpen?
No, Thigpen. No. It was Brody. Is his name Collins? Has to be Todd Collins.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Todd Collins.
I try to remember. I try to forget that era.
Yeah, Todd Collins. You're right.
Yeah,
Todd Collins. Yeah.
Yep. With Herm. Herm was the head coach. You know what I'm saying? It was just like that was the team.
Clarence, for the record,
built that secondary up though.
For the record, Todd Collins was 1-5.
Yeah.
For the record.
Yeah. That's right.
That comes to show you how far. That comes to show you how far 1-5 has come.
And them motherfuckers opened the year in Arizona that year. They had got off of Hard Knocks and was playing in Arizona that year. Yep.
They get smacked.
Yep.
He said, yep.
It was a close ball game. My bad. No. It was a close game. Yeah, they lost though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there was something I realized the other day.
That's right.
With the Chiefs, and it's that over half my life the Chiefs have been in the playoffs. So I guess I can't complain too much.
I can't say that.
Like Chris said, Tyler Thigpen.
Somewhere.
There was Tyler Thigpen days. There was what's my dude's name from Notre Dame? Brady Quinn, or what is his name?
Brady Quinn.
Walking
Notre Dame.
That's what his name was.
It's been some dark days, Ty. It's been a lot of fucking dark days, Ty. A lot of them.
We thought we had some with Kyle Orton. We was like,
no, I remember that.
Woo!
Yes,
we beat the Packers, right? With Kyle Orton. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. They were like they were undefeated that year.
But we were a doormat. Consistently year after year, like
the practice squad
was
the player you got from the Chiefs. Ain't nobody signing them.
No, nobody wanted to come to Kansas City.
Yeah, it was
nobody wanted to come.
This was the last stop.
Yes,
on the way out the league.
What was their worst record? What was it, like 3-13 or
2-14?
2-14. My bad.
Because that was the year we was on the news for most stuff than we wanted to be.
Right.
Yeah.
That was when Romeo.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I was
because the year after that, that's when we got Andy.
Yeah. That's when we got Andy.
Because I remember the last game. I think it was the last game of the season.
We got smoked. I think
we got smoked.
It was bad.
It was like the first quarter. We was getting smoked, and you just saw the crowd get up and go. And they showed a view of the parking lot. Dude, smash parking lot.
You thought it was the end of the game. Everybody was leaving.
It was bad,
gone. And I just remember the next day, Clark Hunt got on that thing.
That's when he made that announcement.
Look, we're gonna do our best to put a team together.
And he did.
He did.
He got Andy. When he signed Andy, I was like, okay, so Clark is serious about trying to win.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody assumed that Andy was gonna retire when he left Philly.
But then
or at least take 2 years off.
He was about to go to Arizona. Because Clark Hunt met him at the airport.
That's what
he said, "We need you, man."
Yeah, he met it. He heard that he was flying to Arizona, and he called him midway, and he was like, "Yo, can I talk to you just for a few minutes before you leave? I'll get you another plane ticket, man."
I bet Andy's glad he listened too.
Don't go.
Please, I think they was in the meeting for like 30
we got the best doggone cheeseburgers,
Yeah,
barbecue, grilled, rotisserie, however you want that thing.
And they was together for 13 hours, man, and the rest is history.
Yep.
And look at Andy Reid's first draft class too.
He had Ken Dorsey.
Fillers.
One thing I'll say about Ken Dorsey could find some players, bro.
Yeah,
like he could draft. Like he could find players.
Well, he came from.
At least he could.
He came from the Packers. The Packers were good. They were good at evaluating talent.
Yep.
Ron Wolf and all them. They
Mike
were good
Holmgren. That whole fucking group. Mike Holmgren, Andy, and Mooch, and I mean, they all were just top notch in Green Bay. You know what I'm saying?
Who was the GM back in 1983 for the Chiefs?
Probably Carl Peterson.
Carl Peterson. Yeah.
Carl, I'll go get players past their prime Peterson.
Yeah.
Come at my dad.
We'll go pluck everything from San Francisco.
He would always bring up that year and why he was so pissed and everything as far as what the Chiefs could have gotten. That was when they got blackledged. And that's when you go down the list.
Could have got Dan Marino, bro.
I'm like Daryl Green was in this class as a corner. They had Dan Marino who dropped down to 27, and then they also had Jim Kelly, obviously.
Yeah. Yep. No, that was the quarterback draft. That was all the quarterbacks that came in.
Yep. And he got Todd Blackledge. Out of all your evaluation,
a 1-year wonder
of Elway and Jim Kelly and Dan Marino.
Because he came out.
Todd Blackledge is the guy.
Yeah.
You know how many Super Bowls we probably would have had with Dan Marino with the defenses that we had back then. Oh man,
the way that Marty was coaching, like, yeah.
Man, we had about four or 5 Super Bowls, bro. Like with Dan Marino.
Yeah.
With the running games we had.
Yes.
He wouldn't have had to do it all.
But I will say, Marty pissed down his own leg because we had one other opportunity to potentially go to, and that was when we had Elvis Gerback and Rich Gannon.
Oh yeah, I remember that. 97.
And remember that. Instead of playing a Denver team that, you know, Elway, TD, Rod Smith, Ed McCaffrey, Shannon Sharp. You know what I'm saying? Neil Smith is on this team. Mm-hmm. Instead of him going with the hot hand of Rich Gannon, who was playing his ass off, he decides to go back to Elvis Gerback.
And then Gannon became a Raider.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about that,
Gannon became a Raider.
And didn't he win a Super Bowl with the Raiders too?
No, they made it to a Super Bowl.
Got there, and then they got trampled over.
But and the crazy part about that game is Rich Gannon had to come back in that game, and he almost brought us back.
That's right.
He almost brought us back.
I remember that. That's right. Show the fuck did. Man.
Teams left Kansas City to go get a better chance to get a ring.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Neil Smith left. Remember?
Sure did.
I think the Raiders would have won the year the Tuck rule.
Yeah.
I think they won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah,
I think they got screwed. They got screwed.
Yeah, they did.
They got screwed.
Yeah, they did.
That's when they had Neil Smith there. They also had Derek Thomas there. They had it was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I remember that. I remember that Derek Thomas Seattle game. That was when they had three divisions.
Oh my God.
That was when they had 3 divisions.
Has anybody ever seen the all 22 version of that Chiefs Seahawks game when Derek had all them sacks?
No.
7.
That was the first time I had ever seen a defensive player blow past a tackle before the tackle comes out of his stance.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I had ever seen that happen. Like, there's no way that this dude is on Craig's neck and the left tackle hasn't even came out his stance yet. That's how fast Derek Thomas was, bro. It was, oh my God. Lord have mercy.
Nasty. He was nasty, bro.
Nasty, bro. I mean,
that was nasty, bro.
Whew.
I was sad when I remember I was in Kansas City when he died.
Mm-hmm. I remember it was a bad day. Like, it snowed that entire day. The highways was just nasty, dog. It was when the streets was real bad too.
Because I remember
70 was all kinds of fucked up. before he had even gotten that accident on 70 that day. It was bad, though.
It was bad.
It was bad.
All right, fellas, let's go ahead and land this thing, man. It's a good conversation today.
Yeah. Telephone. Telephone.
Yeah, that was
Pick
weird.
up the phone.
That was weird. But no, go ahead and land this thing. If you look down at the bottom, you'll see our sponsor, Every Morning Quarterback. You look down at the link, emqpodcast.com/locker-room. If you go to that link, you'll find the locker room access of all the podcasts that is under Every Morning Quarterback. They got a 49ers one, they got a Patriots one, a Chargers one, and they got ours, Arrowhead Chief Podcast. Click on the banner. You see all of our episodes, all the recent ones to the past ones. Go ahead and subscribe and follow us and do all that good stuff. And also subscribe to their YouTube channel. They have talk about everything league-wide. They also give you betting tips. They talk about college football, all that good stuff when it comes to football. So go ahead, check them out, subscribe to their channel. And whatever streaming platform you use for podcasts, we are on there, which is Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Breaker, Anchor, all of them. You can find Arrowhead Chief Podcast on whatever podcast streaming app that you use. And whatever social media account you use, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Arrowhead Chief Podcast, just look up AH Chief Podcast and you will find us. We'll follow you back. Because what's our motto, Clarence?
We not Hollywood out here.
We're not Hollywood. We fans just like y'all. We just want to give y'all the best Chiefs content. So if y'all got some feedback, some topics y'all want us to bring up on the show, hit us up, man. Just make sure it's within reason and talk to us nice. And normal,
And normal.
We will send Ty to come pull up on you.
And he's with the shit.
But for real. Hit us up, man. We'll hit you. We'll interact with y'all because we Chiefs fans just like y'all, man. Y'all crazy. But all right, fellas. It's a good show, man. Till next time.
We gone.
We out.